All right. Great. Well, welcome everyone to Monday Night Ignite, the last night of October. So we are super excited that you are joining us because we have a scarily great lineup for you tonight with Diamond leaders Stacey Kimbrell and Karen Malone. So first up on the health portion of the call is my dear friend Stacey Kimbrell, and I was a fangirl of Stacey's before I had the pleasure of meeting her because I've been using her great book called Living Balanced in my life, in my practice, helping clients for years be educated on toxin awareness and how to make informed choices. So I'll put her link in the chat here when we get started. But Stacey and I met on our gold retreat trip to Ecuador in 2012. So now over 10 years ago, and we were fast friends. She is brilliant, knows about every chemical under the sun. She is a research hound and a great speaker. So after hearing her tonight, you'll be surprised to learn that Stacey struggled with dyslexia for all of her life. And after discovering a natural way of living, it completely changed her life and the life of her two boys. So she became full of passion for helping people. She's a great diamond leader with Young Living, queen of practical jokes. Just saying, that's the truth. Loves to wrestle anyone to the ground. I've seen it. And you will love her fun and informative way of teaching. So tonight, Stacey will be teaching us about identifying toxic chemical products in your everyday products. So she's a master into digging in the chemicals. And from what I understand, she was up until 4:30 this morning. Why? Not because she was like, I got to get this done, but she could not let alone. She knew it was late, but she had no idea because she was so excited digging in, and it just fueled her. So we're really excited to hear what you have to say to us tonight, Stacey. Thank you, sir, for your passion for educating us. So here you go.
Thank you. You guys have to watch what I tell you next time if you're going to tell me when I was up until 4:30. That's like totally against the laws of what we should be doing, right? So don't do that. But like Danette said, I was having so much fun. I love researching. I love teaching on chemicals. And Karen's coming over here, so the dogs will be barking if you heard them. But I have a few slides to show you just real quick. So this is my book, and that's the newer version. You may have the older version, and it's on health and nutrition and chemical awareness. And my goal for you today is to learn how to make better choices. And so if you don't know about what is right and what is wrong, then how would you know to even make a choice? I love to teach with no judgment and no condemnation, because believe me, I can tell you what happened with me back in the day. And I ate fast food 6 days a week. I was not straight. I only did medical, all that kind of stuff. And so I can teach with compassion on this and help people because I was there myself. So one of my favorite things, if you're into it, I love the Bible. And there's a verse at Hosea 4:6, which says, my people are destroyed for knowledge. And what I like to add on to that, it's not for a lack of love, it's not for a lack of prayer, it's not for a lack of faith, but it's for a lack of knowledge. So this is what I'm going to try to help impart on you today. If you don't have it already, there's a cheat sheet chemical list. I think I've added like 2 updates since 2007. This list has been here since then, just like with 2 updates. I think it's like amino sweet, which is a new artificial sweetener. If you go to my website, it's I got a couple of them, but it's staceykimbrell.com, and you'll see a image that looks like this. Okay. And these are little hot links right here, and you can go up to the top and click on these different things. So the welcome tells more about our family and our journey. And then the chemicals, I hope that you can go there and see for yourself, really learn for yourself, invest in yourself. And some of those videos I have there, I have a whole series, like literally my garage was taking up this whole top rack full of toxin products. And when I used to go somewhere, I used to bring them all with me. I had like 4 6 by 2 foot tables, and I had this little oil section. I was a little backwards, but I had all those chemicals so I could teach people about, hey, these are bad. You want to make a better choice, whatever, all that kind of stuff. And so it's just my passion. So my son and I went through and did a video, I think like 4 or 5 videos on like all just personal care and like foods and then drinks. And these products, even though the majority of them are from 2007 when I first started, literally they're still applicable today, which is pretty crazy. And I'll just give you like one real quick, like Sunny Delight. I used to let my son drink that when my eldest son, he's 27 now, but he used to only drink really milk, water, Sunny Delight, and Gatorade. I was not an educated mom. The doctor said Pedialyte's great for them. And so he liked it, and that's what I did. I knew orange juice would be a better choice, but didn't realize how bad those chemicals were with brominated vegetable oil and Gatorade, for example. And then Sunny Delight has sodium hexahydrophosphate in it. And that's a registered pesticide. It causes neurological damage. And I don't know, maybe like 6 months ago when I was at the supermarket, I went and looked at Sunny Delight. I'm like, surely they've taken this chemical out by now, but it's still in there. I was just like, oh my gosh, all these people, it's poisoning. And then whenever someone calls and say, hey, my gums are bleeding and my teeth hurt and all this kind of stuff, I say, hey, do you use what's it, Crest Pro Health? They're like, yeah, how'd you know? I'm like, well, the mouthwash and the toothpaste both have sodium hexahydrophosphate in it. So if you're brushing your teeth or gargling with that, just stopping that alone will change your oral health. And of course, your oral health is directly related to your heart health, right? So literally learning about the chemicals can change everything, I believe. And at least it has the ability, I believe, to change whether it's 50, 80, or 100%, your body giving the nutrition it needs and getting rid of the chemicals that you're going to learn about some of them today. Your body can have the ability to start to repair itself. So it's just amazing. And people are like, well, I don't know. I don't believe that this, whatever. Or like there's a big one, people pray over their food. I don't believe you can ask the Lord to pray over McDonald's and ask it to bless your body. That's just ridiculous because it's not real food. It's not life. I still have it from 2007, the chicken, the lettuce, the tomato, the bun, the burger, the fries, the apple pie. I still have that whole set that I've had since 2007. It has not molded yet. So, if there's a favorite place that you guys like to eat at, I know we just got Culver's here in Flint, so everyone's like, oh, Culver's. I'm just like, okay. So, go to Culver's for your last time, or maybe perhaps your last time, and bring home, get an extra hamburger, get an extra fry, bring that home and just put an open face on a paper plate, keep the receipt there and wait. If it has not molded in 8 days, there is a problem, right? So this is how you can teach yourself and your family. And what's fun about it is that when you do have younger kids, my kids were 8 and 12 when we first learned, we went cold turkey. It was not easy, but we went cold turkey. And especially in 2007, like the only thing we knew, we only knew that chia seeds could make a chia pet. We didn't even know you could eat those things yet, right? And so here in Flint, Michigan, there is not a lot of resources for organics or better choices. At least at that time, there is plenty now. But where was I going with that? Karen, Karen just got here. So I don't even know what I was saying, but you can make better choices. I'll think of it in a second. So we're talking here about healthcare versus sick care, okay? And you can totally change things around, like I said. And I just have a few stats that I want to read to you. I put my glasses on. And this call could be a little bit overwhelming. So if you're into oils already, get some peace and calming or stress away, sit here and breathe this in. You can always rewatch it. And when you're starting off, you can do baby steps or you can go cold turkey, as I said, we did. And what you're trying to do, let me just break this down really quick. Let's say that you're eating McDonald's 5 days a week right now. A better choice would to be eat it 4 days a week and then go down to 2 and then go down to 1 and then maybe once a week. And then how about never, right? So you're learning about perhaps, I believe it's true. You're learning about what chemicals are not straight and what foods. And then you have the opportunity to make a better choice. Okay. And I remember my son, he was only 8 and it was so cute. And, it's hard to give up foods that you love, like if Diet Coke wasn't bad and Suzy Q's and Doritos and Pringles and oh my gosh, Chef Boyardee, ravioli. I mean, that's probably like 5 things if it was my last day on earth. And they're like, do you want anything that's worldly that you haven't eaten, 15 plus years? I'm like, well, maybe I'll try that. But I don't even think I would do that anyhow. But those are things that were like bleach. I wouldn't eat that, but those were things that were so hard for me to give up. But once I learned about the chemical structure and what's actually happening and how it's making illness and disease in our body, I consider it Satan food, right? So it makes it very easy for me not to participate in that food or that chemical. And there's surely no way that you can pray over it. So my son, he was only 8 at the time, and he prayed that the Lord would help change our taste buds to the foods that would be pleasing to him and help heal our bodies. And I was like, you know what? We ask for cars and houses and jobs and boyfriends and girlfriends and all that different kind of stuff. Why can't we ask to change our taste buds? And I promise you, once you get off these chemicals for 30 days, you won't even want them if you ever go back to it. I promise you. Like I used to drink soda all the time. I used to do all that stuff, right? I literally came from the other side of the tracks. Okay. So if it's new to you, I'm sorry, use some peace and calming. Otherwise, it's just maybe a great refresher. And once again, it's to help you make informed choices for you and your family and your pets, because your pets have the same diseases we have because of the stuff that we're using and they're using, and it's in their stuff as well. Okay, so I believe that making better choices is something that you can do with your personal care products. It crosses over between male and female. Of course, females probably use more personal care products, but personal care products are a problem. What you eat and what you drink, and even the water that you consume. Your pet care products, your cleaning supplies, your air fresheners. I used to love candles. I used to use Glad plugins all the time. I used to have perfumes, perfume and colognes. My husband and I did. Now we make them with oils. Over-the-counter medications, prescription medications. I used to be on a slew of both of those things. And I was not hesitant whatsoever because I worked in the medical field for 14 years, and whatever they said, and the FDA was just like, man, the FDA, I supported them 100%, and the medical community. And I'm not against the medical community, of course. And there's a time and a need for it. And I'm thankful. And especially the US here, we have the best emergency medical system ever, but we do very poorly on preventative healthcare, right? But so if you need something, go do it, right? But there's many things that you can do to have the opportunity by changing your lifestyle to not need those things. And most disturbing is when it comes to our infants and our children, the things that we're doing to them unknowingly, and it's just setting them up for failure with health and illness, disease moving forward. And so I really believe that the FDA had our backs, and you have to be aware that when we look at advertisements, they're going to be bright, usually colors, or beautiful or natural looking, like a barn that, then you think it's natural, especially if it says certain words. The whole goal is advertisement is for instant gratification and to make you want to buy something. I literally used to buy Gravy Train dog food because I thought I'd like some gravy on my food, what I mean? So like, why wouldn't the dog like the gravy, right? And so they know it's $1 billion for advertisement and to get people to want to do something by smells, by colors, design, all of that. So you need to be aware of that when you're looking at something, just like when they came out with new washer and dryers, all beautiful colors. I'm like, if I had the cash, I would be tempted to just go buy that beautiful blue one, right? Because that's my favorite color. And why wouldn't you want that color? But I don't need one, but people will go spend money and do something they don't have the means for necessarily, just so they can get what they want. That's really probably not going to do any better than what they got going on. Oops. Excuse me, I just lost my spot. And we need to become personally responsible for our own health. No one else cares as much about you as you do. And so if you don't choose to make a decision and a change in your life, why do you think your doctor is going to come take care of you, or the neighbor, or whoever? And obviously we do have friends and family that would do such a thing. But if you don't make responsibility for what you think and eat and drink and believe in, then you're just going to have a problem. And we really need to wake up to what's going on. So part of the big problem is, and you may not be aware of this, but lobbying is big business. Lobbying to our federal government, to companies, all of this. So that I'm just going to give you a couple of stats. The US government, well, this is about subsidizing. The US government doesn't necessarily directly subsidize junk food, but they subsidize the foods that make up junk food. So they do corn, potatoes, soy, wheat, chicken, pork, cows, and so on, right? They subsidize this so that makes it cheap enough that then people can be using this and make it so inexpensive that people choose this over healthy choices. I don't understand well, I do understand why. There's a reason why, but they should be subsidizing our farmers markets and health food and vegetables and all of that, right? But they don't. So everyone in this industry here is scratching each other's back.
Huh?
Mute yourself.
Okay. Got it? Okay. Is scratching each other's back here. So with such large contributions in campaigning, the 2020, the pharmaceutical and health product industry spent over $357 million here in the US for campaigning for drugs and healthcare issues to our government. This should be totally illegal. It's so irritating. That much money, you're talking about that much money, millions of dollars, is more of this coming, just so you know, millions of dollars for pharmaceutical and healthcare products to subsidize, to get a governmental official or government to buy into what they want and not what's the best need for the people. And people we could totally end world hunger here, okay? We could, and there could be so many things resolved with this money. It's really sickening. The same year, the insurance industry spent $153 million on lobbying. 2020 election cost was $14 billion, blown away, just blowing money away. This is ridiculous that this country allows this. For large food and beverage companies, 30 different companies total spent $40 million in 1 year to be heard by lawmakers and regulators, to have their foods in stores and in snack machines and their alcohol and whatever it is. That's like some serious outrageousness to me. And then once again, I was having so much fun last night studying about the FDA again. I used to have this file cabinet just full of FDA records, and oh my gosh, my husband's like, are you going to do anything else? I'm like, no, I've got to study this stuff. It's so outrageous. But anyhow, does the FDA test drugs? This is their answer. No, it's the responsibility. This is their answer. It's the responsibility of the company seeking approval to market a drug to conduct laboratory and animal tests, the safety and effectiveness of the proposed new drug. So not unless there is a problem, a repeated problem by hundreds of people where now they got to check it out, right? Does the FDA do testing on drugs? But, I honestly thought that the FDA was here to protect us. And so that when I went to the store, I knew that orange juice was a better choice, but I didn't think Sunny Delight had sodium hexatetraphosphate in it, okay? So you have to become your own health advocate. Does the FDA approve cosmetics? No. Cosmetics, perfumes, makeup, essential oils, moisturizer, shampoos, hair dyes, face, body cleaner, shaving, preparation, none of that is approved by the FDA. Does the FDA approve infant formula? No. But a manufacturer is responsible for making sure the nutrient requirements are in there, and they have to do their own testing. I just makes me sick. One of the reasons I'd love to make millions of dollars is to make sure people never gave babies Enfamil and all these other crap ones that have all these chemicals in it, canola oil, bad fats. I mean, the baby's first set of nutrition is bad fats and chemicals. And the body's made up of water and good fats, needs protein, vitamins, minerals. I mean, it's just literally outrageous. Next time you go to the store, go look at the ingredients in there and ask yourself, like, what in the heck is happening here? And just so you know, if someone can't breastfeed, there's better choice formulas, and then there's ways that you can make your own formula. I got a recipe for that if anyone ever needs it. Does the FDA approve the food labels, including nutritional fat? This is the response. The FDA does not approve individual food labels before food products can be marketed. It is up to the person who is making this food, or the color or the scent or the flavor. It's up to them to test it themselves to make sure there's nothing hazardous. Now, we already know the world's crooked, and if you don't, I'm sorry to tell you, but it is. So if you have a manufacturer who wants to sell a product, do you think they're going to do their lame little studies and then get away with it as long as they can? And the answer is yes. Just like when COVID was here, we had hand sanitizer galore from popping out of the woodwork, right? The FDA never tested any of it. Do you know 255 hand sanitizers got recalled for toxicity and cancer and causing death? Like, how did this get on the market? I could literally go make my own hand sanitizer. Well, actually, I'm not allowed to because I'm doing something natural. But if I wasn't doing something natural, I could go make a hand sanitizer and sell it for the heck of it. And like, oh, I didn't know. I can't do that. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. And I already made my $1 million. It's just, all of this is just ridiculous. They don't, does the FDA approve tobacco products? There's no such thing as a safe tobacco product per the FDA, but there's a warning label on it. So that you as a consumer can choose if you want to use it or not. Ridiculous. Does the FDA approve food and color additives? I think I already said this one, but the answer is no. Companies that want to add new food additives to food or coloring are responsible for providing the FDA with the information demonstrating that the additives are safe. Well, thanks a lot. So this is why I'm so serious that, you know, you have to look into this stuff yourself. And when I first started, because I mean, some say crack is good, some say it's bad, right? Some say coffee is good, some say it's bad, you know, all these different kind of things. So I just really prayed for discernment, and I just prayed that I would only see the things that the Lord wanted me to see that would help me, because as I said, why in the world would I want to stop eating Suzy Q's if I didn't have to? I mean, they were delicious. And so, and I don't want to do anything wrong against me or my family or anyone else I'm educating. So, I mean, everything I talk about is stuff, principles that I live by still today and our family has. So there we go. Now, just because something is common does not mean it's normal. So you have to really be careful with your thought process in this. And I just have I have like two good examples. One is that all men over 50 are going to have a prostate problem. Well, really, that's not true. You don't have to. But if you're not aware of what you're consuming and your lifestyle and different things, and you don't have good circulation, you're probably going to have a problem. But doctors now will tell you, oh, you're over 50, you're going to start having a problem. It's normal. I have one too. It's like, that's just not normal. It may be common, but it wasn't how it used to be. So it's not, it may be the new norm, but it shouldn't be what it is. The other biggest thing, my passion, because I had such a problem with this, is young women in menstrual periods, right? Used to be the average age for starting a menstrual period was 13. Now it's either 7 or 8. Girls even as young as 6 are getting their period, being pregnant at 8. This is crazy. And it's because of the foods. I know this 100%. There's so many people that I have worked with over the years that the one little girl, she's already developing breasts and had pubic hair at 8 years old. When I started working with mom, I said, hey, they had a worldly lifestyle. So let's change all this. Do you know her breast like retracted and her pubic hair fell out. I didn't even know that could happen. I was like, hey, we're just going to try to stop it from progressing at this age, right? Her body actually started going backwards and not going back until she's 3, of course, but getting her out of the state of being in puberty, which is way too early. I didn't even know that could happen. So it's just amazing. But I'm going to tell you, a lack of progesterone in a woman of any age can cause, oh gosh, what's the whole list? Postpartum depression, you can't get pregnant, can't stay pregnant, PMS, chronic headaches and migraines, TMJ, fibroids, tumors. I know I'm missing something. Progesterone is the biggest thing to help protect a woman's heart. My grandma, both of my grandmas before they died in their 90s. Last grandma just died last year at 98. She was taking progesterone for her heart health. And so it's the happy, feel good thing that our bodies need. It puts a glow, makes your boobs light and fluffy. It does a whole bunch of stuff, right? Like they should be. It should be hard and dense. There's a reason. So you need that hormone. But all these girls, including myself, I got on birth control when I was 13 because my periods were so bad. I would take 2,800 of Motrin and I couldn't go to work for like 3 days or school or whatever it was. So that's why they put me on the birth control. I wasn't smart enough to know that, hey, that means you're deficient in something. Because you're like, oh, it's just a girl. That's what happens. No, that is not normal. That should not happen. So if you have a young lady in your world or you've ever had those kind of issues, get that issue straight. It doesn't matter what age you are. You can get it fixed so your body is not deficient and full of illness, disease, just because of that one lack of nutrients in your body, right? So it's exciting. Body burden. Okay, have you guys ever heard of this before? Body burden is what I did to my children. So when they were little, I had no idea that propylene glycol, which is in like low tox antifreeze and a petroleum-based product that makes it where your skin can never breathe, and it does all these different things. I didn't know that how bad formaldehyde was. And just, if you work in a healthcare or the beauty care industry, formaldehyde is formaldehyde. There's not a special formaldehyde for hair care and mouthwash and shampoo than from embalming people. Okay, it's the same one. So when I used to, use the little diaper wipes on my son and wash his little face and his butt and do all the stuff, and I use Johnson & Johnson's No Tear shampoo. Who knows? Someone put in the chat here. I can't go look, but put in the chat. Do you know why? What's the main ingredient in Johnson & Johnson's? They took it out a few years ago because everyone was complaining, but it was in there for like, 30, 40 years. Johnson & Johnson's main ingredient, why it made it where you could use that and your kids would never cry if the soap got in their eyes. If you said it, you're right. It's formaldehyde. It deadens the nerves in the eyes. I gave my children oral gel. What's oral gel? When they're teething, right? I didn't know about teething rings. I didn't know about other options out there that are natural. And I gave them oral gel. My aunt actually called me and she said, don't ever use oral gel. I was like, what? I'm gonna use it all the time. He's teething. She said, it deadens the nerves in the mouth and the gums, and it promotes dental issues, right? And how you can't have a mouthful of dead nerves. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, the main ingredient's formaldehyde because it kills off the nerves. I was like, what? I learned about that 26 years ago, right? So body burden is when we're slowly poisoning ourselves every day. Then he got 1 year old. I made him a Winnie the Pooh cake, and it had blue and it had yellow and red frosting. And I used back in the day frosting, right? Or like the dye. Red frosting is like so bad, the red dye, the blue, all this kind of stuff. And I'm sitting here like poison my baby. And then when he got old enough, I gave him Pringles because they're so good. And we got old enough, we had, all the chemical drinks I already told you about, and then Doritos and fast food. And I mean, my one son, we'd have to drive a whole different way because he knew if he saw the bank and something else, he knew McDonald's was coming up, and we'd have to go like 5 miles away just not to pass around McDonald's, because we didn't want to go there at that moment, right? Because the kid wouldn't shut up about it. And so I poisoned them from the get-go. The only thing I ever did right nutritionally with them is not give them soda. Literally, that is the only thing. Otherwise, Salisbury steak from Aldi's. I mean, I just fast food 6 days a week, all of that. And so the symptoms of body burden are many different things. You have obesity, you have diabetes, you have cancer, you have fatigue, you have possible infertility issues, you have allergies. Allergies are a huge one, sinus issues, inflammation in the body, mood disorders, learning disabilities. I know that's true for me and my family, my personal self and my children. You don't become 38 and learn how to read fluently, at 38 years old. I was 38 when I got into Young Living. And because I got rid of the chemicals and then gave my body overdose of nutrition, I was able to read fluently and comprehend. Now, nothing I have done has helped me with my spelling, syntax, grammar, all that. Okay. So I don't know an answer for that unless just learning or writing it down the cheat sheet, right? But to be able to read fluently and comprehend, I was always in special ed classes as a child. I had never read one book in my entire life before Young Living. And I have a whole wall here of things I've read and even things I've written. So, I mean, it's just amazing. Both of my kids were diagnosed with speech, learning disabilities, occupational issues, were in special ed and had IEPs since before first grade. That's crazy. And I mean, just backwards, like couldn't even take it kind of backwards. So I'm not going to go in that whole one, but it was rough, literally. And so we start learning about health and nutrition. And I tell you, I cut things cold turkey. We just went one day, and it's hard when you have this transition with family. And if you have younger kids, I'd be speaking in front of my husband, like, you wouldn't believe it. Like Meijer's and Kroger's, they're out of corn dogs again. I was like, so now they're not mad at me. I did tell a little white lie, right? But, when you're addicted to these chemicals, it's like crack, right? You get mad and you get upset, and you tell your brain I'm not going to have something, whatever you love. I don't know what you do, and I'm not going to talk about certain products today, but let's say that you love soda, or you love coffee, or you smoke, or pizza. And I mean, not that you can't eat pizza, but let's just say whatever it is, and like chocolate, right? Dove chocolate. There's no way you can just go eat one of those, right? And if you tell your brain, I'm not going to have any coffee today or tomorrow, or soda or smoke or this or that or whatever, as soon as you tell your brain no, because you want to have a better choice and you can try to make a difference in your life, your brain like, excuse me, and it's going to turn around and it's going to bother the crap out of you, because I don't know what the problem is, but this is where we talk about the battle of the mind. If you tell your brain no, it's going to bug the crap out of you until you get it. And it's going to say, you are not going to tell me what to do. Now, I always say, if you could just take out your brain and like hit it a few times and then put it back in, it'd be fantastic. But the battle of the mind is a serious thing. So you need to have someone who can help support you, and you need to make a plan and not have things in your house and do whatever you have to do. In the beginning, my family wasn't totally on board. Like when I was fasting, but they weren't fasting, I'd still make food for them, which was difficult, but I was still fasting. And so, you have to set up, what do you want? And you say, well, I couldn't do it because my family wanted macaroni and cheese, and so I had to eat some too. It's like, no, you didn't have to eat the macaroni and cheese. No one held a knife to your neck, right? If you're in a household who doesn't agree with you on things, and some of the choices that they're not ready for yet, that's okay. Make them whatever you're doing, and then eat what you're going to do. A lot of times people are going to see if you're going to be steadfast to follow through with what you're supposed to be doing, right? So let me keep moving. Okay, the Toxic Substance Act of 1976, the FDA grandfathered in over 100,000 toxic chemicals that never had to be approved, that are in our everyday products still here today. Only 3,000 have been tested. And it's just a problem. And if you can just, when you go to my website, you'll see this video, or you just can go type it in. It says the story of cosmetics. You got to go watch that. It's like a little 9-minute video. It's just fun to watch. Remembering that 60% of what you put on your skin is going to absorb into your bloodstream. So this is why it's so, important for what you put on your skin, because it's going to be absorbing in all day. So you have to make sure you have the right sunscreen. Luckily, we have one through Young Living now. That's amazing. You have to, your makeup, you have to be careful. If you're into makeup, we have makeup. So that's amazing. Bug spray, you can make your own. I'm telling you, some of the stuff will make you so upset. I had two boys, they only always had like shorts on, and Austin was like, always get this allergic reaction from mosquito bites. So I would lube these kids down with, we came from California. In California, you don't have mosquitoes. We got to Michigan, and I remember because I grew up in Michigan, but I forgot about mosquitoes, man. And they love these kids. I had no idea that if your body wasn't balanced pH, that they like you more. I mean, I didn't know about all that stuff back then. So if you go read right now today, the off bug spray bottle, right? It literally says hazardous to humans and domestic animals. And so I called Mr. Off. I used to call all these places all the time. I said, hey, I'm just reading this. I got two boys. I spray it on their skin all the time, their whole body, head to toe. And I'm like, how am I supposed to use this product if you can't spray on your skin? They said, and if it says if it gets on your clothes, to wash your clothes. So I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? This lady on the phone literally told me that I was supposed to spray the mosquito before it gets to them. And I was so furious. I said, are you guys located in Michigan? And she said, no. I'm like, you are so lucky. Like, I was literally going to go get a baseball bat and beat the crap out of them. I was so furious because I trusted that the things that are in the market were safe. And for the life of me, I never read or got a magnifying glass to read the back of the label. If, obviously this is what advertisement, and you have to understand that the government allows this packaging and this advertisement. If it said hazardous to humans in the front, do you think I would pick it up? No, it's the same warning label because it's a registered pesticide as Raid and Roundup. Would you spray your kid or your dog with Raid? No, we have enough common sense to know that, right? But we didn't know that the bug spray is the same, or Lysol is the same. Lysol is a registered pesticide. On that link, I got the two links from me calling the EPA and the FDA, and I recorded them about Lysol, and you can hear what they said from the horse's mouth. Lysol is a registered pesticide. You should not be spraying that in your home. You should not be spraying it on your kids' toys, on the counters, in your bathroom. You can spray it outside in the open air, and go look at the advertisements. They spray that or Febreze when there's a bed and like 20 acres of flowers. Does anyone have a bed and 20 acres of flowers? No, but that's the way that they can get around the being truth in advertisement, because they have to show it being well ventilated. You got to look at the big picture. You really got to hear this and understand for yourself. We're talking about chemicals absorb into your skin in 26 seconds. The chemicals you breathe absorb into your lung in 4 seconds. And then from that, the conversion, how the blood and the oxygen exchange goes into your blood, then it's into your bloodstream right after that. So what we're breathing in is in our bloodstream within 5 seconds. And then what we're putting on our skin is in our bloodstream within 26 seconds. I mean, that's some crazy stuff right there. And this is just not like hogwash in natural land. You can go research this, research how fast pain patches absorb in the body. Do the medical research, the pain, what do you call it? Birth control patch, the cancer patch, the diabetes patch. How fast do they work in the body? Do you remember, when you talk about these pain patches and even a birth control patch, there's no little needle stabbing you. It's time released even for a month. And 4 days is nothing. And so this sucker knows when to kick in and stop. And it's just amazing, right? So oh my gosh. Okay, so do we get that part? And is it really worth, I'm glad I get to wear lipstick now because Young Living has it available, but I haven't worn makeup. I haven't worn lipstick or makeup at all since I got into Young Living, because I used to wear it, but I used to wear that color stay lip stuff that would be on for 3 days. It's incredible. That stuff is so toxic. So I'm glad they have lipstick now because I can wear lipstick. But is it really that important to me, for you, for those who are into this, to die? Is your makeup worth dying for? Oh, it's not that bad. I just wear it once in a while, but it's on your skin. It's absorbing all day. So you just want to really be aware of what you're doing for yourself. One of my favorite topics, and there's a whole section, so I won't waste your time on all this right now, but is teaching about cancer. On the website, there's a whole cancer section. There's an estimated 1.8 million new cancers happening right now. Over 50,000 people are expected to die per month of cancer for all ages, races, and genders. Okay, so it could be an infant, a male, a female, anybody else, right? This is a really important part, is only 5 to 10% of all cancer, only 5 to 10% is genetic mutations inherited from a parent. That means that up to 95, or let's just say 90% of cancer per the American Cancer Society is on lifestyle and environment. So I have a whole cancer series, excuse me, if you want to go watch that, which you'll find at staceykimbrell.com. That is something that's outrageous. When you have, I was just telling someone today, if you need to have a service done, get an ultrasound or a not mammogram, scratch that, get an ultrasound or MRI. They don't have radiation, but mammograms do, x-rays do, gamma rays, PET scans, CAT scans, what do you call it? Chemo, radiation has it too, right? So, trying to avoid and being aware, like I was talking to someone who literally has psoriasis so bad. They're like, I'm on this med, this med, this med. I said, which ones you on? So she gave me a list. I'm like, do you realize you're on chemo? She's like, I'm not on chemo. I'm like, you sure are on chemo. I said, you're guaranteed per this little packet of information to not reproduce, to become sterile or have mutated children if you're able to get pregnant, and to die early. So this was a young person. She didn't even know she was on a chemo pill for psoriasis. So they're giving chemo from everything. Psoriasis, of all things in this world, psoriasis, you're going to take a chemo pill. You got to become your own health advocate. We have to make a choice about smoking and secondhand smoke. Please don't do it. It's even worse than firsthand smoke. It's outrageous with the emissions. Alcohol, make a choice. Is it worth it? Is it necessary? I just read a whole thing about Ventura County. It's going all the way to Ojai, and which all the vineyards are up there. They had like over 500 million pounds of pesticides just in that region alone on the farms. I just read a whole study on that today or this morning. Lack of physical exercise. I've been guilty of that myself. I overwork and I don't go get exercise. I just started playing pickleball. If you haven't tried it, try it. It's fun. Do something, even if it's walking. We have to have circulation. Poor nutrition. If you don't have the ability to cook or don't know how to, you can't get meals, then find a better choice. Make a shake. Like the Young Living my gosh, what's the name of the shake? I just had it today. Power Meal, is that what it is? Power Meal. It doesn't taste like liquid sand anymore. I mean, it tastes great. Plus Balance Complete is delicious. And then we have the pure protein, vanilla and chocolate. My family loves those because they basically taste like delicious, right? I don't do dairy, so I don't do that one. But make a better choice for you and your family. You can make it like a pudding for the kids. The worst thing ever is you send your kids to school and let them eat school lunches. That is going to do nothing. And so we just want to be careful for ourselves. Let me just go through some quick things right here. Okay, we know chemicals are bad, I'm assuming. So the main thing is learning about what happens in our body. Researchers at UC Berkeley found the analysis that testing in the urine after a 3-day trial, participants were able to lower their chemicals found in the urine by just getting rid of certain skincare products. Like, that is crazy. Decreased in fragrances alone, not using any chemical fragrances, not Young Living essential oils, chemical fragrances for Glad plugins, this, that, whatever, a decrease in the urine by 27%. That's crazy. So it's that easy. Let me go find something for you real quick. Okay, so Glad plugins, those little reed sticks, Febreze, Lysol, candles. I don't care if they're soy, the paraffin. When you used to dip your hand in the paraffin wax, I used to love that. That is very bad for you. These all have many chemicals in it that are very bad. Lysol says precautionary statements, hazardous to humans. But then on some of their website stuff, it says, hey, you can use that on the toys, but to rinse it off. So now your baby's gonna suck on that stuff? No, like we have to think about this. There's so many other better options out there. Campbell's Soup in 2021, this is outrageous, spent $399 million in the US for advertisement and consumer promotion. Go research this yourself. To tell us that 124 of their soups, they're proud that they don't have MSG. Go to the supermarket right now. They have MSG in it. The other second biggest name for MSG is yeast extract. You can look for natural flavors sometimes in, of course, monosodium glutamate. There's 26 different possible names for MSG, but it's false advertisement. They literally have MSG in their soups right now, but they put this in a huge advertisement, spent almost $400 million, just make the dang soup with natural ingredients. Like seriously, people would buy it. Like, why even do that? That could end world hunger right there. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, you gotta really look at what the big picture is here is and how it's happening. In your home right now, you can make a better choice by drinking out of stainless steel or glass, not buying plastic water bottles unless you're traveling at an airport and you have to for whatever reason. You can make a better choice. Stainless steel, you want to make sure it has a number 18 on it or gauge 18, because most metal bottles, people don't realize and they think it's stainless steel, but really it's aluminum and you don't want to drink out of aluminum. So stainless steel or glass, much better choice. When you're trying to figure out how to store your foods, you can go to Bed Bath & Beyond or Kohl's. They usually have coupons. Literally, I used to have plastics galore. You can get the Pyrex stuff. You can, of course, we don't use the microwave, right? So no microwave, but you can put it in the oven. You can serve in it. You can put it in the freezer. You can store in the refrigerator. It stacks nicely and convenient in your cabinets. And once you buy it, it's one-time investment for like $40 to buy enough to last for whatever you got. And then you don't have to worry about all the storage options and all this. And if you do use a microwave or a dishwasher, whenever you put that plastic in there, it leaches the BPA out. So, and you don't want to use toxic plastics, 3, 6, and 7. And styrofoam is literally one of the worst plastics you could ever have. So if you had cold water out of styrofoam, that's okay. But if anything, hot tea, organic hot tea, oils and water, soup, whatever it is, that just instantly leaches within seconds the BPA, which is azoestrogen, which is synthetic estrogen, right into your bloodstream. A boy, a girl, or whatever. Styrofoam is the worst thing you could do to yourself, drinking anything hot out of it. So please, like, that's just, if you know you're going to go to church, for example, or go somewhere and have coffee and they only have styrofoam cups, donate paper cups, or bring your own paper cup, or bring your own mug and help educate people and save lives. Because that is one of the biggest endocrine disruptors that people do on a regular basis. Your laundry soap, your, what do you call that stuff? You do not need bounce sheets. Like you can use dryer balls and oils in it. And like in the beginning, when you stop, you may have like some static, what's it called? Static electricity or static cling, I guess. But like after all those chemicals get out of your clothes, you won't have it anymore, right? And then being aware, I hate the drug Topamax. I hate the drug, I was gonna do a whole thing on this, Divago. This is something for sleep. And literally it says the side effect is suicidal thoughts and actions. It's like, if you have a sleep problem, it's because your cat's jumping on you? Is it because there's construction? Is it because you're staying up too late? Is it because it's worried, because you're stressed? What is the problem? Like, what's going on? Are you watching scary movies? Are you drinking coffee too late? Like, let's figure out the root cause of the issue so that we can fix that problem, right? But taking Devago or taking Topamax that sets you up to fail says, the ad for Topamax is, if I get, what am I going to do tomorrow? I have to go to the ballerina thing. I have to pick up the dog. I have to do laundry. I have to cook a turkey. And so they're setting you up to fail because you're worried about tomorrow. You're not supposed to be worried about tomorrow already. It hasn't even happened yet. So getting control of the mind is going to be very, very, very important. And there's so much more to say, and there's not enough time for that. So let's see, Danette, do we have any questions? Okay.
No, people have just been chiming in. I haven't seen any question that
Okay.
you probably haven't done, but feel free to type. We have just a couple minutes if anybody has one specifically.
Okay, I'll keep talking, just interrupt me. One of the worst candies, and this, it's a great visual to understand a Jolly Rancher, right? There's a green one, there's a watermelon. If someone comes in with a Jolly Rancher, you can smell it a mile away. It smells delicious. So let's just pretend like you're gonna make your own, an ice cube tray, right? If you squeeze a green apple in this ice cream tray and put some watermelon in this one, when you take it out, is it gonna smell like that green apple or watermelon Jolly Rancher? No. Is it gonna be the same color? No. Is it gonna be the same taste? The answer, of course, is no. So you gotta be aware that they're allowed to use up to 6,000 chemicals to make up one flavor or scent or color. 6,000 chemicals. Remember, only 3,000 out of 100,000 from 1976 were tested, right? How many new ones do you think we have now? Remember, the FDA doesn't regulate it being tested. You got to do your own test. Like, oh, I think this chemical is pretty good. So, they're not testing it. So like Jolly Rancher is literally one of the worst candies. So like some kids came over the other day and I said, let me see all your candies you guys just got. I said, I'm going to teach you about toxic candies. And I said, okay, so if you're going to eat these M&Ms, don't eat the red ones and the blue ones. That would be a better choice. These Tootsie Pops, much better choice. This red one over here, not a good idea. You know what I mean? And so when you explain it to kids, they are receptive. They're like, I don't want bad. I'm like, I know. So this would be a better choice. Don't give your kids fish or what's those square green or orange things? Oh gosh, what is that called? I don't remember.
Oh, Starburst?
No, like the little chips that are square, that are cheese flavored. Cheez-Its and fish. They're called fish, the little
Goldfish.
Goldfish, yeah. Those things are so bad. Like, it's not even worth it. Like, find something better. So it's just learning how to make better choices is all what we're doing. And whether you go cold turkey or baby steps, it's okay. But just find a way to make a better choice. Write a list of your intentions so that you can be successful in changing over what you want to do. And there's 100,000 options these days. You can find a replacement for almost anything. So that's exciting. And just do your best.
We do have one question. Where do we find the link for the conversation with the off company? Is that on your website?
Well, okay, the off company, I called them. And I didn't have that recorded back then. If I did, I don't know where it is.
Okay.
The Lysol is on, if you go to stacykimbrell.com, there'll be a toxic chemical section and you'll see 2 videos. They're only like 6 minutes. And the Lysol commercial is there. But you can call Mr. Off yourself and ask them, hey, I'm looking at this label right here. Like, what in the heck? And so once again, when you go to someone's house, if you're on, social media, they'll say, excuse me, like, you're pretty stupid. You use this chemical. Like, I can't believe you're drinking this. Why are you eating fish? People don't know what they don't know. And maybe they do know and they don't want to change. So that's whatever it is. But when you're helping people, you say, hey, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. I just found this out. Like, did you realize that Lysol is a registered pesticide? Like, holy Toledo, right? And you help people understand that. You share the link, you help people learn for themselves, and just pray that when they hear it, they'll know the truth. I rejected the truth for 17 long years. I was like, you're stupid. You don't know. I work in the medical field. The government is my friend. And not that they have to be your foe, but they definitely don't have your best interest in. I'm pretty sure I've proven that today. So it's like, you got to just make sure that you're researching and investing in your own health for you, your children. If you brought children to this world, they're still young. If you're older and you got grandchildren and you didn't raise your kids like this, I pray that they listen to you, but otherwise just do your best with what you can do with what you got, and for your animals, because obviously they have no choice.
Totally. One more thing. Was there something specific that was done to decrease the rate of puberty in the young girl that started developing so early, or was it just a diet change?
It was, well, it was a diet change for sure. And that's the main cause of it, right? And this lady, gosh, I don't know, I think she's got like 6 kids. And so they're all eating the same way. And she's like, boy, and I was over there and she said, my previous business was organizing, and I was there for an organizing job, not for health and nutrition, right? She's like, boy, I wish I had a better choice snack. And I was like, I just want to say something so bad. And I said, if she says something again, I'm going to say something. She's like, I wish I knew what a good snack choice was. I'm like, all right, so let me let you know. That lady, I gave them an award. And actually Karen's here and she knows these people as Delcia. She called her husband home. They listened to everything I said. They got rid of their microwaves the same day. They started getting goat milk and not cow milk, and learning about what foods and getting grass fed and not this hormone stuff and all this. They went to town. They got into oils and nutrition. And it was just amazing. It was the whole situation was like, of course, that doesn't happen all the time, but it was just a beautiful situation. I mean, they really took heed to seeing what was going on and changing that outcome. It was beautiful.
I love that. And that's because you educated them well, like you did us tonight.
And not being afraid to say something.
That's right.
Because, you don't want to overstep your bounds sometimes, but I'm like, man, I was like, you got to just know, like, don't say it twice in my presence, because I have to say something for sure if I'm not going to say it the first time.
So do you have microwave stuff on your site?
It's in my book.
Oh, it's in the book. That's right.
On my site, you can see if you go to the welcome section, I believe my book is on Amazon or on my website. So you can purchase it if you want, but the book is Living Balance. It's on health and nutrition and chemical awareness. It's literally a snapshot of everything from A to Z about what you can do. Like, it's like each chapter is 1 page to 8 pages long. And it just goes over good sugars, bad fats, this, that, replacements. It does not have anything in there about young living because I had to take it out, just so you know, but it makes it better in the sense that now you can share what progesterone does and what vitamin D does and what magnesium does in the body. Like, all these things are so important that if I had the Young Living products that paired with it, I wouldn't be able to have it in the same book. So it's really exciting that there's just so much information, literally from A to Z.
Totally. So I just put that back in the chat there for her book. It's fantastic. It's really, I knew things were bad. My mom taught me that. But I loved hearing Stacey say how and why. And it is all in there. So thanks also for having your site there too. So fantastic tonight, Stacey. Thank you so very much for sharing with us. We all learned stuff tonight. Awesome. And we really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to stop the recording here.